Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massenomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massenomics.
Welcome to Massenomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massenomics. Make sure you go visit Massenomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massenomics gear.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 163 of the Massenomics Podcast, the world's strongest podcast, the lifting podcast about nothing. Two best podcast hosts in the world are back again for more, Tommy and Tanner. Tommy, how's it going?
Good. That's a pretty big title.
Yeah.
I've never heard best podcast host in the world. So
usually it's just best host of the Massenomics Podcast.
We've been upgraded.
Yep, just best in the world.
That's high praise.
Yep. We have a lot to go over in episode 163. We were just talking. We don't even know if we're going to get to it all.
That's actually been a recurring theme the last few weeks. We haven't been able to get through everything. But maybe today we'll just go for that 2 or 3 hour episode.
We've been running well over an hour at times here. We're probably going to have more of the same.
Joe Rogan, here we come.
So I guess if we spend most of the time talking about how much we have to talk about, we can really make this long.
Just keep the problem going.
Yeah, that's right. Where do we want to start at? From the beginning?
Should we talk about, the beginning's always the good stuff, but should we talk about the Massenomics Gym and what's been happening there?
That's probably the best place to start. Keep it close to home.
So, with the Massenomics Gym, we went from roughly, what's the gym been? About 1,600 feet?
Yes, in 2.0 was about 1,700 square feet, something like that.
And if you guys don't know the whole story of the Massenomics Gym, the first Massenomics Gym was it about 400 square feet?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
like the room we're podcasting in right now might actually be bigger than the first gym.
Yeah, it's a different. It's probably about the same.
But total
maybe 500, 400, 500, something like that. It was very small.
Very, very small. Like it had enough for like one rack.
Yeah, 20
by 20. A small half rack, a bench, and some free weights. Like that was the gym.
Yeah.
And so when we got to upgrade to, what was this, 3 years ago?
Yep.
We upgraded from like 400, 500-ish to 1,600, which felt massive.
Yeah, we tripled.
Like, how do you ever fill all this space?
Tripled, quadrupled our size.
Yeah, and that served us really well for 2 years.
Yeah.
And then it was like you were already starting to feel the pinch of, wow, we filled this up with toys. We did the impossible in 2 years.
A lot more and a lot of new stuff as we went over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and it was like this last year especially really started to feel the pinch, like to the point where it was just like, well, can't get any more new stuff because there's no room for it.
No.
Like almost there was almost no room for bars.
Yeah, I was gonna say we almost couldn't get more bars.
Like all the bar storage options were full
at that point. And
we had the gun rack, the vertical racks, all the racks on the
walls were like completely. There was no space left on the walls for things.
Yeah, it was just full.
Yeah,
and so we kind of knew this problem was coming. We'd been discussing some options, with the landlord and some other things.
Yep.
Finally, I think they kind of came to you with the idea of expanding the room for the gym.
Yeah, it's something we talked about for a long time, but it was really on them if they were really gonna do it or not, and they eventually decided to do it. We got something kind of worked out, and they built out more space, and we ended up we've more than doubled our space now with the addition. It's kind of 2 rooms is the way it's set up now.
We really do have a front and back room now.
Right.
And they are kind of mirrors of each other.
Yeah, the front room is our old, all the space that we had before is now our front room. Mm-hmm. The back room, our new space, is actually bigger, so we have more than twice as much space as what we had before. So it's a pretty big change.
And in case you're wondering, how do they add front rooms and back rooms to a gym? We also have a very weird setup where, if I could describe the building we're in, it's like an old, missile bunker.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's not, but it is like a bomb shelter where, the basement. We go into the gym, we go into the basement, and the basement is it 10-foot ceilings, 12-foot ceilings?
Yeah, it's probably something like that.
I've never been in a commercial like warehouse basement like this where where the roof is that high.
Yep.
And it's not like shitty drop ceiling. Like this is like solid cement, like concrete, like construct. Like this thing is heavy duty. So it works good for us. You wouldn't know you were in a basement.
No.
If someone just picked you up and brought you there, like you wouldn't know where you were at. There's no windows, but you also wouldn't know where you were because this place is massive. Like and so because the basement in this place is so big, they can have a 1,600 square foot room.
Yep.
And then when that was full, they can just build walls up for another 1,600 square foot room, and they could do that like 10 more times and still wouldn't fill the space.
Right, because it's all just kind of like bulk storage and stuff.
Yeah, it really is like a warehouse.
Yeah, right.
And we just keep expanding our walls in the warehouse to accommodate more gym equipment.
Yep. And now it's weird because the way it was before, we had everything so, like I said, Tetris.
That was always the way to describe it. It was Tetris.
Yeah.
Like, how can we make these two things fit as close together as possible without causing problems? So like machines,
or minimizing the problems at least.
Like machines usually have a decent sized footprint, but you can't go on different planes. Like the machine is on the track it's on.
Right.
So you can put a machine like right on top of another machine. No big deal there.
Right.
Barbells get a little trickier. But even though we had like some setups where if you were in a one squat rack, you had to be careful of the guy deadlifting right next to you because
you couldn't both be like changing plates or both be lifting at the same time.
No, it didn't allow it. And now we have the freedom we basically turned the front room into kind of the free weight machine room.
Yeah.
And when I say free weight, I mean like dumbbell machine room.
Machines, yeah.
And then the back room is
cardio.
And cardio,
machines,
yeah. Which I mean, no one's concerned about that part of it.
Crappy bike, one crappy treadmill, and one crappy elliptical.
And crappy's a pretty good word for it. Like someone that you know that has one in their house, it's probably nicer than these ones.
Yes.
But they don't get used much, so that's okay.
Right.
And then the back room is where you have all the platforms, all your barbell stuff, your benches, all the strongman equipment.
Yep.
With the exception of the stones.
Right. Yeah. Which is an odd thing.
That was the joke, is like when you walk in the front room, if like you brought someone to the gym and said, all right, this is the gym, and then say, okay, I see dumbbells, there's a leg extension and a leg curl machine, a couple pieces of crappy cardio equipment, and strongman stones. I don't really get the vibe of this gym, but I guess maybe they found their audience.
All right.
So and a leg belt squat machine too. Can't forget that one.
Yeah.
But no, it
does feel really weird though of how it was so jam packed every way we could before, and now there's still a good amount of equipment in there in comparison to how your average gym utilizes space.
Yeah.
But to me, when I walk in, I'm like, God, there's nothing in here.
You almost feel like weird. Like, what's going on?
Yeah,
you got to get some stuff to fill these spots up with.
Yeah, it definitely is an adjustment period of.
Just like the benches. I mean, the closest thing to any bench is 10 feet away.
Yeah.
Actually, probably more than that.
Yeah.
Whereas before, that was not the case at all.
Yeah, and like the barbell racks on the walls. Now, before you had to like.
You actually had to wait for someone to be done using the bench to get to the barbells.
And then even then, like you're always hitting stuff on both sides when you're taking them out. Now they're just like you just walk up and grab it.
You kind of almost have to try to run them into something now. Whereas before, you had to try really hard to not run them into things.
The other biggest thing is all the moving strongman equipment that we had. Farmer's walks, yoke, kegs, bags. Prowler sled, pull sled, all that stuff before. We kind of had a makeshift area that they let us use outside of our gym walls.
Which, kind of was in their warehouse, and it kind of wasn't really lit that well.
And it was kind of okay for us to be there, but also at the time, like, maybe only in certain times.
Well, and that is one of those things whenever you're renting, like, it can become this point of contention. Where it's like,
right.
The renters are kind of going into areas they're not supposed to. And I totally understand that. Like, that's how relationship issues start to form with these things. So you always feel guilty about it.
And now with our new space, the back room that we're talking that has all the deadlift platforms, the squat racks, the benches and stuff, we have enough room in there that we kind of have an open runway of about 40 feet where all that strongman stuff is just set up at one end and you can use it right inside the gym walls now.
Which, for our purposes, works great.
Yep.
There's some gyms I'm sure that have 100 feet of
right.
But
it's still not a huge runway, but it's definitely enough to be able to effectively train those things if you want to. Yeah.
So and I think like the usage on those will go way up now that you're in the gym. You're not like in your own secluded area.
I've seen people using that stuff every time I've been there now since then. And,
I
and
can say firsthand that I've always wanted to, but I just don't like going into the dark warehouse by myself, away from the music, away from anybody else, like carrying plates out there, loading the stuff, and it just like turns into this. It's like in, was it Born Strong when Zadrunas is like lifting underneath the arena at that place? It's kind of like that. It's pretty comparable. And I didn't really feel like doing that ever. No. So now that I can stay in the gym and the things are right there, the plates are right there, I think I'll start using those more now.
I really like the back room now. Like the vibe of the back room is really, really cool. Yeah. It makes me not want to be in the front room is the only downside. It's like, I'm going to probably utilize dumbbells and machines even less because the back room is just really, really cool now.
Yep, it's got that vibe.
Yeah, it does. It's almost like a little bit darker and our original gym was very dark and dirty and almost to it. I mean, I liked it. It was really cool and it was really fun.
It had the sewer pipe going through it. Anytime anyone flushed the toilet, you could literally hear the liquid flowing through.
And this is kind of closer to that. You know, it's a little more.
It's just a little more.
It's still much nicer than what that original building was, but it kind of has a little bit more of that vibe.
Yes,
and I really like it. And the additional space allowed us to put in a second dedicated deadlift platform, a brand new one that we didn't have before, and I don't know, it has a really cool feeling to it now in that area.
It does. I'm excited for it. I think everyone else at the gym is excited for it too. And that was the other thing that's really, really great about the gym is that when we say we're moving equipment over, what was there, 20 guys about?
Yes.
Some ladies
I
too.
tried to count once. There's probably 15 to 20 members that were all there.
That came and volunteered to help like move all the shit over because
thank God, because
it took it took a good, I would say the majority of the work was done within about a 3-hour window.
Yep.
But when you figure 20-ish guys, that's like 60 man hours. Yeah. Like that's a lot of work to move that.
Right. Like had it been myself there and 2 other people, it would have been a grueling, daunting.
It would have been for sure. I would say for sure an entire like weekend of that's all you do, and then a couple hours every night of the week.
But thankfully, kind of the, I guess, culture. I don't want to make it sound like more than it is, but like the group of people, I don't want to talk like how I don't like how I hear some people talk sometimes, but because of the group of people that we have there and the way everyone is and the way it is, it's still more of a club than it is.
But it's like so crazy that like you just get people that like everyone just kind of knows what they're. For some reason, I don't know how to do anything. I don't know how to do anything, so I kind of just bounce around and whatever. But like. Nick shows up with a welder and is just welding away, like reconstructing the deadlift.
As there's like 12 other people working around him.
And he's just got the welder going. Like Larry's taking care of all of the sound stuff. Like he's wiring in the speaker. He's drilling holes in the wall for speaker wire. He's like taking care of all that. He's
we got one guy
mounting the shelf to put the amp on.
Yep, we got one guy mounting the gun rack barbell holders on the wall, and we got a couple groups of 5 people handling the large racks.
And we have a certain rack in the gym. I think we've maybe talked about it before, but it would have been years ago. What brand is that rack? Do you remember?
I'd have to look.
It's not Cybex, right?
No,
that's the other one.
Our smaller one is a Cybex. People that are really into equipment would know what that Cybex rack is.
Cybex is a fairly popular
and it's the full rack Cybex. I've got a guy on Instagram I follow and communicate with that's really big into used equipment like this, and he knows, like he's commented about our rack before. He knows all the details on it.
I want to know what I cannot think. It starts with an S, doesn't it?
I think it's maybe like SPX or something like that.
I just want to see if we can track this thing down, just so you guys can Google it and see what the hell this is.
Arthur Brent would know. I should get him on the hotline right now and. He would know like the specs of that rack to a T, but this thing is
the whole thing we're trying to get at here is this rack literally fully constructed without weights on it probably weighs 1,500 pounds.
Yeah, probably.
It makes no sense how heavy this rack is. Like this thing is bomb proof.
Yeah,
and all we can figure is whoever designed this, one, has never used a rack in their life. 2, doesn't use one because they don't know how heavy it needs to actually be because it is so overkill.
Yes.
It's made of like Rogue. I think has their process streamlined pretty good to the like a nice mix of design and functionality and all these
Yeah.
things. And like I don't think you're ever left wondering like what is this piece for on this Rogue rack.
Right.
Where this every piece you're wondering what is this
Yeah,
for because it has besides the two your stands. There's I don't know, was there like 3-4 crossbars that are going all these spots? It has this weight tree that comes out in like this half
it's an
moon
enormous
shape.
weight. Like the real estate that the weight tree takes up is huge. It's got at least it's an 8-foot long footprint.
It does. It takes up an entire.
Which it works really. Once it's together and in place, it's a really nice power rack. It's a really good power rack. But the disassembling and assembly of that thing is a nightmare.
It did like the first time we moved the gym and the first time this rack ever went together. I remember it was a big process, and then I was thinking, God, is it gonna be that same thing again now? Like, are we just better? Do we have better people on it? Do we remember? And this rack took about 5 guys full time on it, and about 2 more coming in and out just to
probably an hour of work.
Easily an hour. Like it sucked. It was work.
Yeah.
So we'll have to figure out what the name of that rack is, and you guys can Google it and just see how ridiculously.
If we
overkill
did
it
get
is.
nuked, that would be. I picture
that's
the
what everyone says. Like if a natural, no matter what part of the country you live in, your natural disaster can come through. Everything will be destroyed, and this will be
this
standing.
rack will just be standing there.
It's like this trophy, like a monument.
I'd be nervous for, I would say hopefully this expansion should essentially, if things go as I would hope they should, it should be the last time that we have to do anything major like that. With the amount of space we have right now, with what our gym is, we're really never going to need more.
Shouldn't
like
unless membership quadruples,
right?
like,
Which it won't.
No, it
basically
won't.
with what our strategy isn't to try to grow the membership
it's almost like it almost kind of keeps people away,
right? So we should hopefully never have to change that again. But that's kind of starting to look like it
because it has the same. We're looking at a
yeah.
picture here online. This is the SPX3 power rack, which is pretty close. Let me see if I Google that exactly.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, if I would be worried to ever try to ask any of these guys to help move it again, because I think everyone would be like, "No, screw you, we're not." No,
I think you get the same. I think that's the same
like,
assumption.
no, that's staying here.
Yeah.
Like I don't care.
Yeah. But we're all moved in.
Yeah.
Life is good,
Yep.
and I guess we'll see where we're at 3 years from now.
Yeah. I wish I would have done a time lapse.
That would have been kind of cool.
I thought about
yeah.
it, but it's like. Kind of actually busy, like
we got
doing the
actual
real,
work to do.
Like if I'm dicking around with a camera while 15 people are there working, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, put that down and grab a weight."
And then
here.
really, besides us,
Yeah.
and maybe a few listeners, no one cares about our gym time lapse. So
right. But with how many people there was too, it would have looked cool, like the mass of the glut of people that were coming in and out of there the whole time.
And how many people just stood around?
Well, and that's the other thing. With that many people, you're going to get some of that. But it's
bound
nicer to have too many than it is not enough.
For sure. Yes.
For sure.
Yes, that is the problem to have.
But 3.0 is up and running. If you're ever in Aberdeen, South Dakota, maybe we'll let you come in and drop in.
You wouldn't want to miss it.
No. If you're listening to the Massenomics podcast and you're not from South Dakota and you happen to randomly come to Aberdeen, South Dakota, it'd be really weird for you not to drop in.
It would be really weird for you to just not.
Yeah.
To like, even if you didn't even just say hello.
Yeah.
It'd be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we discuss the tribute meat raffle?
Yes, we should discuss the tribute meat
and
raffle.
not it's not a meat raffle, like we're not raffling off meat, which is a thing that happens around here.
That's true.
I don't know about other parts of the country, but we do
Yeah.
have actual hamburger, like not like meat, like meat
Like
raffles.
a half of beef.
Yeah. But we are talking about the tribute powerlifting meat raffle.
Yes, not to be confused with meat raffles.
Yeah,
it's the one that we are doing together with Matt at Pioneer. We're giving away a fully custom Pioneer belt of your choosing. Doesn't even have to be Massenomics themed, but you're more than entitled to make it Massenomics themed. And as a shout out to us, we would certainly wouldn't turn that down. But then in addition to that, we're giving away a 6-pack of Massenomics shirts, along with a lift flag, like you can see posted up behind us right now, and some sticker packs. So it's probably pretty easily a $400 value, if somewhere in that ballpark.
And then, I mean, that's not even, that's assuming sentimental value means nothing to you. Then it's
right.
I mean, could be comparable to lift shorts pricing once you figure that in.
That's I wonder if we could offer the alternative. Either you can win the belt, the 6-pack of shirts, the lift flag,
stickers,
or if you want to go with what's behind door number 2, you could get a pair of lift shorts half off.
yeah. A deal's a deal.
Yeah, that would be a tough.
These don't happen often.
We should pose that question to whoever does eventually win. But
and that person would not understand the joke at all and be like, "Is there something I'm missing here?"
Like, no, I want the belt, dumbasses. Like, I don't want one pair of shorts in exchange for all of that. Like, you don't get it. These are special shorts.
There's hype around these.
So this will come out Monday, whatever that date is on the calendar. The 20th. This podcast episode will come out the 20th, and we're going to draw, I think, sometime that week for a winner. So as you listen to this, you do have your chance to still, if you're listening to this towards the beginning of the week of it coming out, you do still have a chance to purchase your entry. You can do that on our website. One entry is $10 or 2 for $17. So you can actually get a little bit of a bargain there and double your chances at $17.
Yeah. And, there's entries have been coming in, but you still, if you buy one, still have a decent chance of winning something statistically here.
Yes, statistically
and
right
we're
now.
We're still not at the
point
of that belt competition we had where there was 6,000 comments.
Right.
Your odds are better than 6,000 right now.
Much better than that right now. Some people are certainly weighing the pot in their face. There's been some people that have really thrown down a lot of entries in one. Somebody took 10 entries in one shot. They bought 10 entries.
Of the tickets?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one person bought 10. I've seen someone that bought 6. So
there we go.
You're not limited to just one, but still just one would not be bad odds right now.
Yeah.
And the kicker to all that, we're unlike the lift shorts, we're not keeping all that money.
And we're not keeping actually any of the money. Exactly. We're keeping zero of it.
We're giving that all to the tribute meet.
You can at least, at the end of the day, if you don't win, you can at least feel good knowing that you helped make the tribute meet a success.
We'll give that to them, and if I understand correctly, 100% of that will actually go towards payouts for the lifters.
Awesome.
And we were kind of talking about it before. We really see they put out a competitor list of for the tribute meet, and we could see the tribute meet really growing into a very
big
seems
like it from even last year to this year, because this is the second this is the second year. I just saw the lineup for the first time today, and I was impressed.
And of course, as we've talked about before, we know that
someone will get hurt.
There will not all be there.
Many of those names will be missing, but
even if you take away some of those, it's still going to be
it's going to be a good meet.
And this is kind of my hot take. I'm sure there's some people that wouldn't agree with it, but I think the tribute meet is in time going to be a bigger meet than the U.S. Open for a few different reasons.
I think the wave of momentum is shifting that way.
It is for sure. I think the U.S. Open is. Not saying that it's going down, but maybe it's not. It's not. I don't feel like it's growing. In like these last couple of years, you would want it to still be growing, and I feel like it's plateaued to a degree right now. And I think the tribute meet is really gaining momentum.
Mm-hmm. I think so, and I also think that Texas, think as a community, rallies around powerlifting maybe a little better than San Diego does. Mm-hmm. Not to shit on San Diego, but they have beautiful beaches and stuff to do. It's like, I don't know. Why would I want to miss out on this beautiful California sun and beaches to go sit in an auditorium or whatever this is and watch some power? I think people in Texas just get around that a little better.
Yep. And I'd say we're still supporters of both, but that's just kind of the way we see it going.
Yeah. And it's as a fan, I want to see both of them succeed. So I hope the best for both of them.
Yep. Maybe I'll buy a raffle entry because I would like the belt.
Conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll pay someone else to buy raffle entries for us, so if they win, no one ever knows.
Yeah. What if we did buy our own and then we won? And just sorry guys.
It's just the way it is. We all had an equal chance. That's how it goes.
Way of the road, boys. The other thing we're doing, we talked about it last episode too. After this raffle, we're going to do our Massenomics Versus campaign to see how much we're going to give away 100% of this tribute meet raffle money, and then we're going to see how much more money we want to give away, and it's based on the Massenomics Versus. And I have a hard time maybe explaining how we're doing that. How could you put that into words?
Man, I could try to verbalize it, Tanner, but there's just some things that are really hard. Like the English language doesn't portray these ideas the way we want them to. But
could you say it in French?
The language of love. Okay. So basically, I'm going to really condense this down. If a versus was made about somebody that has the potential to repost it, we'll just say, for example, Quads Like Rob.
Yep.
He's a person a lot of people know.
Yep.
He has a versus name in his name. Made in
versus,
his name.
Do you know who he's versus?
Rob Zombie.
Oh, yes. A classic Massenomics.
It was
versus.
a classic matchup. So, for example, on this day, if he reposts his versus within the time frame, we will donate $10? $10. Couldn't remember the exact number.
If Quads Like Rob
so if he reposts his versus,
$10.
we will donate $10. So basically, everyone on the list that had a versus made in their name, if they repost it in the time frame, a $10 donation will be made to the tribute meet. And it's kind of a fun way to get people involved. And hopefully it's one of those things that maybe some momentum gets around and people are like, well, why are they all reposting this? Oh, they're doing this thing for the meet. So
And, people do kind of get on our case about being money-hungry pig capitalists on the lift shorts.
Yeah.
So this is your chance
to stick it to the man.
Yeah, to take some of our money away.
Yeah.
And we have over 90 of these out, so there's a chance for us to give away close to another $1,000. Mm-hmm. And that's not like a raffle of your money. That's just our money.
That's just our money.
And it's our money, and we want it now.
Yeah.
But
I think the tribute money is saying that's our money, and we want it now. So, yeah, we'll give you your shot to do your worst.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how many of those we can get out there, and it'll be kind of bittersweet. Each one I'll be like, yeah, I got reposted, and I'll be like, but that's $10 more.
Oh, we made a versus for that guy, really?
Do you have a favorite Massenomics versus? Maybe when we get to 100, we'll decide if we have a.
Yeah,
favorite.
maybe when we get to 100, because there's been so many at this point. I know for a fact I'm forgetting large chunks of them.
Yeah.
There were certain ones that were reposted for the first time or acknowledged, and it's like, oh, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I'd have to look at the list to really pick out a favorite.
We'll do that sometime.
Yeah. I think, in honor of the 100th, maybe we'll talk about some of those.
There's been, as far as fans concerned, almost everyone that gets posted, someone says, now this one is the...
everyone, you can say that about every time you make one.
Yeah.
You know that this will be someone's favorite one.
Yep.
Might not be many, but it will be someone's favorite one.
Yep.
And if that isn't enough to keep you going, I don't know what is.
No, nothing.
Tanner, are you ready for the hottest new segment to hit the Massenomics airwaves since the last new segment called Supplement, or called what do we call that segment?
Supplement,
real or fake. Yeah, I couldn't remember what we called that. So
is this a spin on that segment?
This is a spin on, because what happened is I wanted to branch the supplement, real or fake, into more than just supplements. Because this industry that we're a part of is so much more than just supplements. So
don't want to pigeonhole.
Why stick us to just one?
Yeah.
And so in my hours and hours of research that I do, I almost consider it investigative journalism is what I'm doing here. But I started to come across just a whole group of things that I thought would be so good, and that I was loving, and I was like, I can't wait to just get Tanner with these. But then I'm like,
it didn't fit into the exact parameters of supplements.
It didn't fit the
real
exact parameters of supplements, real or fake. And then the other thing was I was finding all these just what I thought were hilarious fake things, or hilarious real things. But I'm like, well, now I have to just come up with a fake thing, and all I'm going to want to do is get the fake thing over with, so I can be like, look at this is real.
Yeah.
So then, out of my own selfishness, I decided I don't want to look at fake ones anymore. I just want to talk about real ones. So. The new segment, Tanner, is called Fitness's Finest.
Fitness's Finest.
Fitness's Finest. That's very proper.
So
English
does this fully replace supplements, real or fake?
I'm not saying it's completely replacing it, but there's a good chance we might not see supplement real or fake for a while, just because.
Fitness's Finest could be.
Because really, in supplement real or fake, what we want to talk about the ejaculoids of the
ridiculous
world.
and it's like, that's real.
Yeah, that's what we wanted to talk.
Yeah.
We wanted to talk about those things,
Yeah.
and so I didn't want to water it down with me making up things,
Yeah.
which I could probably make up things that are funny, but I just wanted to talk about the real things.
Yeah.
I want to keep it real over here, Tanner.
Yeah.
So
We're about keeping it real.
So, in this first edition of Fitness's Finest, I've tracked down some a few different pieces. So, just to give you an idea, these could be equipment things, these could be workout trends, workout fads, program things. They could be supplements again.
Yep.
They could be apparel. They could be just a whole variety of things that you might see in the fitness-related industry.
I like it. I like
And
where
so,
this is headed.
in my research,
Is there rules to this segment?
there actually really isn't rules, other than the fact that I just need you to cooperate and kind of tell me what you're thinking about when I'm breaking these things on you. So, for the most part today, we're going to stick to some pieces of equipment I ran across that I really liked.
So this is an equipment-themed Fitness Finest.
I think so, and we're going to find out here. So, first one. First ever piece of anything on Fitness's Finest will be the free flexor. The free flexor.
I'm going to say it's real. Or
Yes,
Am I
correct.
getting this?
Yeah.
Am I understanding this
I
segment?
think you did it right. Okay. Okay, and a lot of these, like the commercials, I'm assuming they didn't. I don't know. I gotta assume a lot of these didn't sell very well because some of the commercials are kind of hard to find and they don't have a lot of views.
So this is called Free Flex or
The free flexor, free FLEXOR. And if I really quickly had to describe this, I would say it's the Shake Weight 2.0. And the Shake Weight is has a bit of a legendary status, I think, in the fitness gimmicky product industry.
that transcended.
It really did.
Made it in South Park.
It made it into
episodes,
South Park, and they did it really
yeah,
funny. Like
yeah.
it wasn't just like it was like in South Park.
that was a pretty classic.
That one was
yeah.
really good. I like that one a lot. But the free flexor. So again, with this segment, it might be handy if you guys, if you think any of these sound funny, you should probably just Google it on your own and track it down, because I'm gonna be showing Tanner a lot of photos and commercials here. But this first one, Tanner, I'm just gonna hit play on the commercial here, just so you can kind of see what's going on. I'm gonna even turn it up. Okay, so okay, before I show you this here. So basically, it's kind of like I don't know, it's like a foot long, like kind of rubber hose, and each end has like a big red ball
balls
on it,
on the end of them,
and it just looks like this kind of rubbery weight thing, and
it looks a little.
the whole idea is that you kind of stand and hold. Almost, I don't know, like you're churning butter with it or something.
This, much like the Shake Weight, this one appears to have a lot of like sexual innuendo.
yeah.
Like,
and when I saw these guys, they got like two like bros to like demo this thing, and it looks like they're standing on a golf course. Like they're literally standing in front of a slough. Like there's
really
there's
weird.
grass behind them that is at least 4 feet tall, and they're in a
weird
park.
spot to be doing
they're in a
this.
park or somewhere, and they must have just cornered these two guys and be like, "Hey, can you like give this workout device a quick spin?" And so let's hear what they got to say here.
Listen to what these guys had to say.
Yeah, it's burning my whole arm now. Shoulder, getting that momentum swinging. It starts to go deep. I can feel it.
It's the
that is very much like what I would consider it looks like a dildo.
and just like all of this, just the way these guys are whipping this thing around.
and light your forearms on fire.
So that is real
In
for
the
sure.
last
Like
clip,
you're
in
not.
the last clip, he's literally holding it in front of his junk, just spinning it around. He goes, "Oh!" Like there's no reason, and he has a shirt out. There's no reason that any of that has to be in that
and
setup.
the material that this is made out of makes it look much even more like a dildo than the
It needs to.
like. One of the comments on YouTube is like, anyone serious? Or are they
Well,
all like,
there's a lot of ha-ha-has. My wife says this thing works great.
yeah.
This dude looks like, at the end, looks like he's jacking off.
But this is real though. You're certain that this is like
I believe this one is. I mean,
Okay.
there's a real
number.
800 number on
Yeah.
here, so I think this one is real. From my very limited research, I believe this one is real.
It's a weird name to me, the Free Flexor. Like,
I don't completely get it, but it was only $29.95. You know what we should do? They have a website. We should see if it still exists. If I Flexor.com, and no longer exists. You can buy the domain for $2,300 though if you wanted to stage a comeback on this. So that one probably lives in the history of products that just didn't quite cut it in the fitness industry. So that was our first one.
Good one.
The next one is a little product called the Power Plate.
I've heard of the Power Plate.
I was not familiar with this one.
Yeah.
And what it's based off of is I think probably as long as fitness stuff has existed, there's been this idea that if you can add vibrations into things, it will either stimulate muscles or make them work harder.
Like the funniest is the old thing where people like the housewife stands on the thing and there's like a belt that goes.
Yeah,
your
I
butt
think
and,
that was probably one of the
like,
first
shakes
kind of
it back and
one of the
forth.
first uses of sort of this whole thing.
Yeah.
Power plate workout, and I think this thing is still like in action today.
I think so.
I just thought this is one of those that just seemed really anticlimactic because the video is literally this guy's like, hey, I'm just chilling. I'm just a regular guy, and I'm about to have a workout on this thing. And he just goes, and it's just a plate, a vibrating plate, or it's like a vibrating stand.
Yeah,
and he just
looks like it would be like a stair stepper if you remove the stair stepper thing and just put a flat plate on the ground.
Yeah, and like this guy, he's doing push-ups on it while this thing's vibrating away. And like watching, it's like, okay, yeah, the guy's doing push-ups. So what's the catch here? And then when he gets there, he's like, "Oh, my arms are burning, man!" I'm like,
yeah, if you did 40 push-ups,
you just did 40 push-ups either way. Like, what's the breakthrough here?
Yeah.
But then his chest is vibrating.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's good. That one wasn't like as crazy, but I was just I was genuinely surprised that this was a thing. I didn't know.
And also, I've seen it before. It's really expensive. Do you know how much the Power Plate costs?
I'm sure.
Like, this isn't a $30 free Flexor.
Oh, well, the Power Plate Pro. Okay, this is where the joke comes in. Okay, hold up. I got to turn the video down here. Is this serious? From a quick Google search from Precor Home Fitness, Power Plate Pro 7, $13,000.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, that's shocking.
Yeah.
I did not know. I thought this was like something that anyone could just buy.
No,
like
I knew it
$200.
was like a super, super expensive thing.
Holy.
Because I've seen like people that sell like pools and, like those companies that sell like hot tubs and stuff like that they sell this too.
Well, naturally, right?
Yeah, right. It almost seems like for some reason it kind of goes together in that with that
these
stuff.
are all things you spend when you have extra money laying around.
Right.
It's like, well, you have extra money for that hot tub. We also have this vibrating plate over here for a cool $13,000.
So
Shocking.
You know how much good gym equipment I could buy for $13,000?
You know how many Dodge Neons you could buy for $13,000?
Buick LeSabres.
You know how many Buick LeSabres you could buy for $13,000?
And those are reliable and get the job done that they're intended for.
Yeah. Some of them even vibrate too a little bit.
That's true. That is very true.
Wow. Okay. So the Power Plate is in fact I thought for sure that would have been one. Once we looked a little bit more, that would have been.
So I said it's real, and I was right.
You said it's real and right. Yeah. All right. The next one. If we had to play real or fake, and I said treadmill bike. Tanner, treadmill bike.
I'd be like, I guess it's fake, and you did a really unimaginative job of coming up with it.
Okay, so now thinking in your head, if I say treadmill bike and it's real, what are you picturing? Before I show you anything here.
Maybe if you just could like make a bike stuck on a treadmill so that it's I don't know, that you're like pedaling a bike. It looks like a bicycle.
So it's like kind of like a stationary bike.
Yeah, but it's like literally just a bicycle that's almost like sitting on a treadmill.
So I would say, yes, that makes absolutely the most sense, which means you're completely wrong.
Okay.
This is literally like if you took a treadmill and made the walking part power wheels. So like the motion of you walking makes wheels be powered. And so you get this.
What the world?
You literally have the treadmill platform and a wheel in the front and a wheel behind. And while you walk, the wheels are going on this thing. Wow. And this is a straight up treadmill bike.
That's really weird.
I'm actually kind of amazed I've never seen one of these.
Yeah. That's that would be a really weird feeling, though.
To be walking and
Yeah.
moving at such an incredible pace.
Well, I mean, it seems to be like it just seems like a really weird combination. And also, why?
Yes, also Y is correct. The thing is, like, what bike rack does this fit in? Where does this go at? Like, besides just for leisure, this doesn't fit anywhere.
But why not just the regular motion of the bike pedaling? Like, why does it need to be the treadmill instead of the bike pedals?
Yeah. So you're subbing out the motion of your feet going in a circle, I guess,
Yeah.
to just say you're walking.
For like a much more elaborate piece of equipment
And
to do the same
it looks
thing.
so ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to try one.
Oh, I think it'd be really fun, like, to try out, and I bet it would be fun to use.
And it looks
it's
like
kind
you
of
have a handbrake.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
know-
it's also it has an electric motor, so you're going fast. You know,
Uh-huh.
you're going faster than what it actually than what the manpower would dictate.
but that's got to be okay. I'm like Bike Pass. Are people going to be cool with this thing because it's just so enormous?
no, they wouldn't be.
And it's not nimble like a bicycle.
no,
It's probably 8 feet long. You're getting looks in the video. They're getting looks on it.
it's kind of out of all the things that have
There-
been here. This is at least like a
there's
kind
a-
of a
there's a
an
certain
invention,
novelty
or
to- yeah.
like this is kind of a legitimate invention. I don't understand. It's not solving a problem or fixing something that is broken, but it's at least like a real piece of equipment. It's not the power plate.
Yeah. So I haven't heard of the fitness craze of the the Lopie Fit is what it's called. LOPIFIT. So
That thing's kind of cool.
I haven't heard of these things taking off yet. And actually,
I bet they're pretty expensive though too. They got to be at least $5,000.
I would assume, and they're made in Germany, so you just gotta think it's even more.
Das Bike.
Right. Lopie, they do have a U.S. website, the Electric Walking Bike, and pricing.
Call for prices. You know it's expensive when if you have to call for a quote.
yeah.
So you know it's,
Okay. We're looking at about $3,000.
Oh.
$2,895.
That's not completely unreasonable compared to what.
Well, you could get a motorized bike for that price, though.
But you can also get non-motorized
You
bikes.
are
for
right.
more
You
than
are
that.
right. You are. Yeah, you could spend $10,000 on a bike.
Yeah, like I know pretty firsthand right now because my wife's been looking at some different bucket bikes that are
Bucket bikes.
Yeah, Madsen would be one of the chief brands. You have to look at it and see.
Like that?
Well, that's not. If type in Madsen bucket bike, that's kind of a different thing.
Like this right here? Oh, no, that's a Schwinn. All right, I should just go to the website you told me to go to.
There you go, like that.
Oh, weird.
And how much do you think those cost?
Well, just because you told me a lot, probably a few thousand.
Yeah, about $3,000,
Really?
depending on what you do. And most of the upscale brands, there's some different configurations, but they're all in that ballpark, if not more expensive.
It seems very European to me for some reason.
Yeah, it does kind of have that look to it.
And a little bit of like a rickshaw look kind of to it
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Especially the ones with like the full cage in the back with the thing over the top.
But
Wow.
even used, these are very, very expensive.
Well, you could say it's an investment, Tanner.
If that's how I have to justify it, I suppose I could say it's an investment.
They do have an electric option though.
Yeah, which
Ooh,
makes
and
it.
it also just adds to the price.
So that's why when I saw that, that's why my initial comment when I saw the walking bike at less than $3,000, I was like, seems reasonable to me
All
now
right,
that
let's
I'm.
do this.
Yeah.
They got a whole line of apparel too. And when I say a whole line, I mean 2 T-shirts. They
don't
do
even
have a payment
deal-
plan though.
Oh,
Are
just
they?
what I don't want.
Is it the same financing people use for the lift shorts for their payment plan?
The reverse structured annuity, where you pay us perpetually every month, forever.
Okay, Tanner, the last one on the list. We're gonna buck the trend here.
Oh,
And
non-equipment.
that kind of leads into what we're going to be talking about. This is not equipment, but it is. Well, actually, this one kind of is equipment. I shouldn't say that. It is equipment, and it kind of has a workout thing with it too. But it is the Horse Riding Fitness Ace Pro. Now,
It's a mouthful.
I know I've piqued your interest by
Yeah.
saying that. And it is, just to prepare you here, I believe it is a Korean Korean home equestrian system. So, Korean, it's a country not in America, Tanner.
European, the Europeans.
yeah. Equestrian as in horse riding.
Yeah, I follow that. At first, I was picturing something actually involving a horse, but now that I saw the video,
It very much does
thumbnails,
not involve a horse, but it's supposed to mimic the riding of a horse. And there's
Oh,
a lot
man.
of. It's basically
that a horse?
It's basically a saddle.
Yeah.
That you just
Springy
bounce,
saddle?
a springy saddle you bounce up and down on. Why they had to have
Boy.
everyone wear spandex and
Yeah.
like not shirts when they filmed the video for it is pretty mind blowing. Also, why they had to green screen it so that they're in the background of like.
Well, I mean, gosh, look at the woman is
yeah,
putting her hands on her hips,
And like when these people are like gyrating their hips forward
Yeah.
to like give the feeling of more motion, they have like green grass flying by the people like they're really going somewhere.
Yeah.
When it is obviously a stationary instrument.
I don't just like all these different expressions on the people's faces. None of them are appropriate for what's going on.
No,
Like,
and this one out of any of them seems like it belongs in South Park probably the
Yes,
most because
yes.
it's just this dumb saddle that these people are bouncing up and down
Yes.
on. But yeah, there's this whole group. Why you cross your arms ever during a workout routine like these people are, I don't know.
this lady that the one with the spandex shorts and her hands on her hips like that really.
yeah. It basically involves a lot of squatting up and down and then hip gyrations in
Yeah.
general. I believe it's supposed to mimic the feel of a horse. I've only been on a horse like twice in my life, so
Yeah.
I can't comment
Me too.
on
I only have
the
been a few
accurate
times,
motions
too.
of these things, but it seems like some of them are more than what they need to be.
This guy.
And then you get this guy crossing his arms in his casual business clothes, gyrating on the horse. And so yeah, what makes this commercial so great is they go from the guy that just got done with work and is in his he's in dress slacks, and I say
Yeah.
slacks because he's so old, and he has like a sweater vest on, and then they cut to a guy in spandex with no shirt on, also riding this device.
So what's it called again exactly?
It is the Horse Riding Fitness Ace Power. I think I said Pro. It might have two names, Pro or Power, but either way, Horse Riding Fitness Ace. If you
People
look up
definitely need to Google that one.
I like this 'cause this comment. No dildo attachment. Pass. And the guy replied. The comment under that was, "Just tape it on, my dude." So this guy really likes at 1 minute and 7 seconds when they use the explosions on the screen, which I would say yes. Those are very tasteful.
Yeah.
This other comment says, "All this needs is some vibration, and sales would shoot through the roof." I like this guy.
Well, that's where the power plate. You do this on top of the power plate.
Yes. This guy says, "She makes the tea, I do the tea bagging." And yeah, I would just say check this thing out. The whole commercial is, I am assuming, in Korean because it's not in English, so I don't know what they're saying, but
Kind of makes it even funnier.
But yeah, definitely check this one out. It is almost a 6-minute commercial, so there's a lot to see here. And it kind of is the gift that keeps on giving because you think you're done and they suck you right back. For
switch
some
back to
reason,
those-
all of a sudden they're in a bed.
He can't sleep. He's pissed.
He can't
He's
sleep.
like, I gotta get back to the
I
power.
gotta
or
get
to
back
the-
on the power saddle. And his wife's bringing him hot tea while he's humping the saddle up and down.
You wouldn't want a beverage while you're on.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Like,
thumbs
how's that
up.
not spilling? It's
Yeah.
like it looks like a dark cola.
There's just so much thumbs up and laughing and smiling going on. Just, I don't know. These people are having a good time in life.
Yeah, that is something. That's the funniest one. When I think that and that lady.
I do like the one too of the grass of the moving background, so it looks like they're just riding this horse at an incredible pace. So check those out. The ones we had the Free Flexor, the Power Plate, the treadmill bike, and the Horse Riding Fitness Ace Pro.
I'm gonna pick a winner for the day.
Yeah.
That's how I can.
Okay,
that's how I can,
What takes the cake here, Tanner?
So today's finest in fitness's finest. I am going to say it let's see. Review one more time with the power plate, the
Free
swinging
flexor,
dildo thing,
the treadmill bike, and the horse riding Fitness Ace Pro.
I'm gonna say the horse riding Fitness Ace Pro, but actually the best one I think is the treadmill bike.
The treadmill bike is the one. If you had to buy one off the list, it
is
the only one off the list
that you could ever justify really buying.
If you had a garage and if you had to put one of these in your garage and people were going to come over, what one would you pick? Hands down, the treadmill bike.
People would want to try that and be like, "Oh, that's kind of cool."
Now,
I mean, you wasted $3,000, but it's still kind
Yeah,
of cool.
like, you spent a lot of money. It was fun for a minute. Now, if I had to get a great gag gift for a friend, without a doubt, the horse riding Fitness Ace Pro.
Yeah.
If I thought that was going to be too expensive, I'm assuming import
free
fees
flexor.
from Korea are probably
Yeah.
kind of high. The free flexor
Would be pretty
definitely,
funny too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most useless award, I believe, goes to the power plate, hands down. Given the price to performance ratio, strictly speaking, price to performance.
Yes.
Free flexor, you're only out $19.99, so it's not much of a gamble.
Right. 13,000, a little more of an
13,000,
investment.
you
You could
know.
buy. You could freaking buy a apartment full of free flexors for $13,000.
You could, yeah. It'd be probably a lot more fun too.
Yeah.
All right, so that was the first ever Fitness's Finest.
That was a good. I like Fitness's Finest.
And Tanner, I just want to say, if you look, there's more where that came
All right.
from.
Which is good because I think some people were concerned that we haven't revisited supplements, real or fake, for a while.
And we could get supplements in
Yeah,
there too.
But I think this is going to be. People are gonna feel okay about this trade-off.
Okay, good. I don't want to let the people down.
No, and because it's the people that we do this for.
It is. I get
Them and-
zero satisfaction
Yeah,
from this. So
right.
strictly do it for other people.
We're only doing it. It's actually miserable for us. It's borderline unbearable,
Like
but
it doesn't end.
yeah.
Where are we at here, Tanner? We are. Let me adjust some things around.
What's our time frame looking like right now?
Time 50 minutes. So we're getting down there on the time.
What do you think we should go to underrated, overrated, or what do we?
We can do we want to talk just really quick about the little competition?
Yeah, I do want to talk about
Just because we just saw this.
Yeah, right before posting, someone sent this to me. It's the Giants Live Legends event. This is Bill Kazmaier posted this video. Him and Magnus are going to go head to head in a Hercules hold as a part of an upcoming Giants Live event, and I think that is really, really freaking cool.
I like that because
That is
I want to
so
see like these
awesome.
guys are both competitors.
Yeah.
Like Kaz especially, like is he
Yeah.
gonna go like straight back to like 70s Kaz mode on this?
Yeah.
Because I have a feeling that's still
Like,
down in there.
and neither of those two are going to take it lightly.
I don't think they're just
they're
gonna be like,
like,
oh, this
yeah.
is gonna be fun. All right,
No, they're
good
going to be
luck."
like, I don't want to frickin' lose. Like, I'm
Yeah.
world strong. Like, I'm Bill Kazmaier or I'm Magnuson. Like, I didn't like losing then, and I don't like it now.
Yeah, that I think that's what I'm most excited for is like how into it are these guys
Yeah.
gonna like turn on something that hasn't been? Are they gonna show a part of them that people haven't seen in
Yeah.
30 years? You know,
And the Hercules hold's a perfect event. Obviously, they can't go do a max deadlift to,
but it's not like super dynamic,
Right,
So they
right.
can-
Yeah.
You would assume the risk for injury outside of like tearing your hands
it's
is
gotta be
relatively
pretty
small
minimal,
compared to
yeah.
a car flip or something.
Which, and I hope that they do more. They get more guys and like make this a thing
Yeah.
because I would be more excited to watch that than almost basically any event of the real.
I kind of would be too,
because that's
but-
really cool and
But
like
it's like,
nostalgia.
while
and-
you're tuned. But I think that will draw some people
Yeah.
in, and it's like, well, now that I'm tuned in, I might as well just see what else is going on here.
Well, I don't know what the Giants live event is or who's in it and competing, but that's the one thing that I already know that I
Yeah.
would want to see the most.
Yeah.
And like a Hercules hold isn't that exciting of an event, but it doesn't matter because you're getting Kaz and Magnus to do it.
Are they
against each
do
other.
you know? Are they doing it? Is it at the same time?
I don't know.
Because I feel like that would make it.
Yes.
Even, if they made it so they were facing each other, and it was
Yeah.
like, that would be really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. Who do you think will win? Is the other thing.
I don't.
Kaz
Part of
is
me wants
older.
to say Kaz, but he's
Yeah.
old.
He's pretty. I mean, we talked to Kaz
He's
a
still
few
pretty
times.
big, though.
Yeah,
Like,
his arms are large.
I have no doubt that he. assuming he doesn't
He's
have
a lot
just
bigger than Magnus looks.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
Magnus was never that big actually, but he.
assuming Kaz doesn't have some terrible injury. If you're like, oh yeah, he could rep 405, I'd be like, I could see that.
Yeah.
I mean, he has very big arms still, and I mean, he's just still a big guy.
Yeah, he's large. I don't know. I kind of think he's quite a bit. He's got to be quite a bit older than Magnus. Though.
How old? Do you know how old he actually is?
We could look both of theirs up and.
Bill Kazmaier is 65.
Yeah, that's not very young. And Magnus has to be more like 50. He was doing his best in the 90s, in the early 90s.
56.
Okay.
So there's a 9-year
Yeah.
9-year difference.
But
there.
that's a pretty important 9 years going from like getting into your
It's a lot bigger
mid-60s.
difference than 21 to 30.
You're right. So who do you pick? We'll make it.
I'll go Bill.
And I'll go Magnus. So we'll see who. Very important to find out which of us is right in this case. There's a lot riding on this.
There is a lot riding on this. When is this even? Do we know?
I don't know. We're not prepared on things like that.
This is breaking
This
news.
is,
We just
yeah.
found this out like minutes before we let's see, Giants Live.
In the brand new Giants Live Legends Challenge. Join us, Giants Live, Wembley, for an incredible night of strongman action. I don't really know. He doesn't say in that. That would be a helpful piece of information had he included that in there. But
Yeah, so, and I'm looking, Barbend has a thing about it, but, yep, don't see any dates, so, welcome to the sport of strength, welcome to the world of strength sports. No one knows when anything's happening and
Yeah.
cannot find it online, so,
yeah,
okay, that's cool.
we'll find out more about that,
Yeah.
I'm sure, as it comes.
Yeah,
I see on Giants Live, they also posted it, but did also not post a date.
maybe they're just saying it could be an idea,
Yeah.
you know,
No, I think it's going to happen. That is pretty sweet.
yeah. Do we have Dan, I see we have a best comment of the week here.
Yes, just did you read what it was there?
I did. I saw this and
This was
immediately thought it was a front runner.
Yeah, on the most recent Massenomics versus was Nick Best versus Thanos. That post went out there pretty large. We got a huge number of likes and a lot of comments on that one. You could tell it was getting out there to a lot of people that are not fans of Massenomics
Or Nick Best.
Yeah, or Nick Best. They are fans of the Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
And the comment on there several times was, I had Thanos listed at 6'7", 985 because that's what my simple Wikipedia search said. And
Wait a minute. You didn't spend hours trying to get to the bottom of this
and
answer?
that is apparently his Marvel
That was,
comic
I believe, the
book
comic and not the
height.
Marvel comic universe
right.
of the movie.
So it's not, I would argue, it's not technically incorrect. Where the problem comes in, I suppose, is the picture used in the Massenomics versus is a picture of the
yeah.
the
You
movie.
were mixing your inks there,
Yes,
Tanner.
right. So he's supposed, and also there's not a specific reported height of Thanos in the
Wait,
movies.
they never did
Everyone
a
just
weigh-in
says
for him before
in
they also-
relation to the other people, they say he's 7 to 8 foot tall.
I did like the one comment that a guy had. He's like, okay, Captain America is 6'1", and he towers over Captain America.
right.
Okay, man.
And it's like, so all the comments that said he's 7 or 8 foot, it's like, that's not the fucking point. That's never been the point of Massenomics. Like, you're coming here for the wrong thing if, like, that's what you want to get it. But, of course, there's a lot of people that also do get it and make the comments like, oh, come on. Everyone knows that Thanos was 6'7" 3/4. When are you going to stop spreading this misinformation?
And those people make it all worth it.
Yeah. I fired a few shots back at a couple of people, that
Just
makes me feel a little bit better about getting
just
called
really
out on
grinding
things.
their gears.
Yeah, those people that have to call it out on things, that's what keeps me up at night. So I go to sleep a lot easier if I know I got a shot back in at them.
Firing back.
Yeah, that's not true. It doesn't actually affect me that way. But I do like to, if I can think of something funny to comment back, I do enjoy doing that. But yes, definitely best comment of the week. I know Big James Strickland has been shooting for comment of the week on some of his comments that he's been shooting out there, but you did not make it this week again, James, so
You're gonna have to try harder.
again next week. What do we have time for then?
Well, basically over-under at this point.
Okay. We can do that. We can do over-under. Another thing about over-under, we've been putting that out on Instagram every week in our story that you can play along with the current week's over-under.
2 weeks in a row now have read the question wrong and contradicted myself to what I did on air.
I was going to call you out on that, but I was going to say, I'm pretty sure you're answering them all the opposite of what you answered them.
I start going through and just like, oh yeah, I totally read that.
Yeah.
I just assumed I knew what the question.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I see MTV, and I click whatever the button was, but actually the way the question was worded, it meant the opposite.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I should just quit playing on the phone. Just shoot myself in the foot here.
It is interesting to see, though, like this was review last week. Watches came in about 50-50.
And that's where I was about on it, too.
Yeah.
I did think most of the answers pretty much lined up with my general sentiment.
MTV was overwhelmingly overrated, and space travel was pretty heavily underrated. Yeah, and I think that's kind of how you answered them all.
Yeah, it was.
The week before, I can't remember all, but I do
maybe
remember.
It's because I kind of I'm like the teacher. I gave them the teacher's guide, so they know the correct answers to the test.
For all the listeners, they already know how to answer.
You know, they didn't know how to answer until they heard me.
The $2 bill did come back very overwhelmingly underrated as well.
As it should.
A few people DM'd and said, and I don't know if they may not be familiar with Over Under from the podcast, but they said, well, I think that's just appropriately rated, and I want to say that is not an option. That's not how overrated, underrated works. We have rules for that.
Actually, the rule in life is you can never be indifferent on anything. You have to be strongly opinionated on everything.
One way or the other. That's kind of the nature of underrated, overrated.
Yep.
And I have had several people over the last 2 weeks who did not read the rules fully.
Oh.
Many people called us out on that, actually, and said
as they should.
And they did. They said they were very.
There's a reason rules exist.
Well, they were very confused as to what the hell was even going on because there was no rules. So they said, "I don't know. What are you doing here?" We're gonna fix that this week. So the rules of underrated or overrated consist of lightning round questions asked by myself to Tommy. The questions come from a variety of topics, including but not limited to pop culture, current events, food, and technology. There are also lifting-related topics sprinkled in. It's important to remember that the questions are, in fact, lightning round, but the answers are not necessarily. Tommy has his druthers when it comes to the length of the answers. What are druthers, you ask? Well, Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines druthers as a person's preferences in a matter. All that being said, there does have to be a final answer. This initial issue of underrated or overrated must be clearly resolved in the end. Due to demand, we have added a frequently asked questions section for overrated and underrated. Question 1, can Tommy come up with his own over-under topics? Answer, it is not suggested or preferable, but under special circumstances it could be petitioned or allowed. Question 2, can the rules be changed? Answer, the rules are fluid. They are a living, breathing organism that can evolve with time. Topic 1, now that the rules are now that the rules are out there. Topic 1, underrated or overrated?
So is this a rule topic or is this the actual game now?
We're in the game.
Okay, I didn't know if we're like in the first topic of rules. That was the introduction to the rules. Or
now we're getting to the real
one.
rules. No, we're in the game now.
Okay.
Topic 1, underrated or overrated? Rain, total body fuel. If you don't know what this is.
Yeah. All right, I got very confused because it's just
rain.
Yeah,
REIGN.
Yeah.
Yes.
It seemed like they were trying to do the bang thing.
Correct.
It really did.
These are not energy drinks. It is a subcategory of performance energy drinks.
Yeah, yes. A subcategory of marketing to people. Yeah. Water is not water.
I had to look it up because this is kind of, someone suggested this, and I was like, what is this? I guess I've maybe seen it, and it's Brain is a performance energy drink made by Monster.
It is made by Monster, really?
Yes. They chose not to use their brand on this, which was interesting. They used
because Bang definitely markets to the fitness industry,
performance,
the performance industry. Yeah. I'm curious. I wanted to see. Okay, they do have 300 milligrams of caffeine. That is always my first thing that I'm curious about with like energy performance supplement drinks is what their caffeine level is. To me, 300 puts it in that higher tier.
Yes.
And Bang, I believe, is at like that 300 level too.
Yeah.
It really, really makes me think different now. I wondered why, because looking at it, the logo Rain, it's kind of like a crown with like a face mask, but it definitely makes an M when I look at that. And if it's Monster, whether that was intentional or not, I feel like it
Yeah.
would be. But if it was
It would be
Monster, it now
intentional.
makes sense that
Yeah.
okay, they're using this kind of whole thing as
Yeah.
you know, the M is tied into Monster.
Yeah.
So, I think this is overrated. Like it's
We should preface it by how many energy drinks do you or I drink?
if
You
I
know.
drink 10 in a year, I mean that's it.
At the Arnold, we had these really long days, and one of the Alabama guys had
were
brought.
keeping them coming.
And he brought and they brought one for us, and I said, hey, they brought this Bang Energy if we want it, and you said then I didn't know how much caffeine they had, and you told me that has like 300 milligrams of caffeine, and I was gonna drink it, and I was like, oh no, like that's gonna like once we still have many hours being here, that's gonna wear off, and I'm gonna be screwed. So I was like,
in a really
I'm not
bad
gonna drink that.
yeah, I've never been like a big caffeine guy.
Yeah.
You know, like coffee, I'll do a cup of coffee. Like I don't do multiple cups. Energy drinks, I just don't even do energy drink. I like energy drinks. I mean, I don't. Some of them taste good. Like, yeah, you can feel the boost from them, but I just don't like to get in the habit of like relying on that.
Yeah.
And so I'm just not a huge guy into those things. I get it why people like them, but
You've been seeing this pop up.
I have seen it. And then
someone at the gym tonight was drinking one of these.
I've seen him, yeah. And then Half Thor, they got Half Thor.
Okay.
Like he was posting about it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's kind of overrated. It's just people finding what this is if you look at it, it's just people finding a niche that they can exploit in the fitness industry.
Yeah.
And okay, regular Monster, regular energy drinks were doing it for you. Now they make one that has some more BCAAs because you really need those in your workout plan. Like that's what's stopping
Yeah.
you from achieving your goals.
The packaging looks more similar to Bang Energy drink just in general too, don't you think? I don't know if it's their color choices or what it is, but you can just see similarities to Bang when you look at this to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like the flavors are like there's cotton candy and like it's probably a lot of stuff that's not far off of Bang Energy or Bang flavors, I think too.
Yeah, and I don't know who this. See, I'm not. If you go to their website, their two big promoters are Half Thor and this Natalie Eva Marie, and I have no idea who she is. Definitely an Instagram model of some kind, but you know, they're taking the Bang approach. They're trying to have way more Instagram influence and personalities involved in this, in the marketing of this beverage.
Kind of funny that Bang, who you wouldn't even heard of, you know, not that long ago, has influenced Monster into
but that's
making
just all this. It's all marketing.
Yeah.
Like no one needs
Yes.
any of these drinks.
Right.
It's just the only reason you even.
no one needs all the variety of the like.
No,
there's like
it's just like.
if,
Like, oh, the thing finally science cracked the thing that was missing, adding BCAAs
Right.
into my energy drink. Like that wasn't like a problem.
yeah,
And I mean, they're presenting it as a problem. Like, yeah, your energy drink clearly wasn't giving you enough things.
Yeah.
Like your 12,000% of your vitamin B and all that stuff. We finally solved that. Like, no, that's not the issue. But I don't know. They're going to market it hard. So I think it's overrated. I don't really care for this stuff. And if you look at the marketing behind it, it's just obviously targeting people that are going to go for that. And then on top of that, more than anything, they're just trying to copy Bang.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a branch off of Bang. You know,
Yeah.
I guess you could probably say the same thing about Bang is just a branch off of Monster. You know, it's
Right.
like, so they're all just kind
Yeah.
of, everything is just like enough % different that they can get to a different market. So
Yep.
I'll say overrated.
okay. Underrated or overrated? Timed rest intervals between sets. That you could take it a lot of ways because there's a lot of different ways that people train and stuff. So
Well,
but I
when
just-
you say this, I'm thinking like, all right, I'm going to do, once I get to my working sets, I'm doing a minute and 30 rest between
yes,
sets. That's how I
and
think
you
of
got
it.
a stopwatch or you're eagle-eyeing the clock and you're like, okay, have to go right now.
I would say in most situations, it's not necessary and overrated. To me, the most logical reason for it is you take way too long at the gym and it's your
Right.
way of staying accountable.
Yep.
Then yeah, okay. If that's what, like, you're at the gym for 3 hours and you really only need to be there for about an hour, that probably is a really good way to keep you on
Yeah.
track. And then it's just time tracking. Like anything time tracking, if you're wasting a lot of time, do a little bit of time tracking. You'd be amazed how much time you're actually wasting. But when it comes to training, you know, for most of these things, I think, like, you can get all crazy and scientific and exact with it, but I think for the most part, really, you're kind of feeling it out. You're gonna
Yeah.
you got to have some feedback loops in your own body where you're like, I'm ready to go or I'm not ready to go.
Yeah.
And that time I don't think it needs to be the same all the time. I think it can be different. It can be shorter sometimes, longer sometimes.
Yep.
I'm gonna say it's overrated.
Okay. And now, I think what I'm going to run into the issue is I don't have a running list of all the topics we've ever used on underrated or overrated. So some of these that I think of, I'm like, I don't think we've done it before. But if that ever happens, I'm just saying now it could happen. I don't think that's what we're doing today, but it just could happen. So underrated or overrated cupcakes.
I don't think we've done this one either.
But we do a lot of things that are similar to each other.
Yeah.
But I think it is new.
I think
but
it is
we've just
too.
done other things.
Otherwise, we'll find out.
Yeah,
we'll find out.
Someone
how,
will call us out if that's the case. Underrated or overrated cupcakes?
So the reason I want to say overrated is because people like to freak out about cupcakes,
Yeah.
but also people like to freak out about any dessert, like my god, or even really any food for them. I mean, you just take anything that you can put in your mouth, and people will just blow it up.
And I know we've done
pizza.
we've done donuts, and that's where like this would parallel something where it seems like something we've done. I know we've done donuts and some other things along those
like
lines.
Donuts, pizza, cake, pie, cheesecake, ice cream, all that stuff. Yeah, there's a reason tons and tons and tons of people like it because it's really, really good.
Yeah.
And cupcakes to me, like it's just cake in a smaller form. I don't think there's any magical piece I'm missing there.
Like Kevin from The Office, he has one where they're talking about mini cupcakes. And he's upset about. He's like, cupcakes are already smaller cake. Why on earth would you make them even smaller?
Yeah.
He's like, why would you make mini cupcakes?
Yes, and that is kind of the whole thing here.
Yeah.
If I had to pick desserts, like cupcakes and cake would be on the lower end of my preferred dessert list. So with that, and then people like to just freak out about cupcakes, and I'm gonna say cupcakes are overrated.
Yeah, I think that's right. Okay, last topic for today's underrated or overrated is magazine subscriptions.
Ooh. Well, I don't currently have any magazine subscriptions, so I don't know if this means I can properly answer this question. Like, everything
let me
else
check something.
Everything else I do have, a
It
lot of
says,
experience.
it says here there does have to be a final answer. The initial issue of overrated or underrated must be clearly resolved in the end.
Okay, so I do have to resolve
But you still have your druthers.
All right.
But not to
magazine subscriptions. I do love magazines. Like if I'm the type of person, if I get a magazine, I will sit down and I will, unless it's something I like, an article I really don't like, I will read every single thing in it. Like I'll read it cover to cover. There's a lot of good ones out there. I don't really. I think it's underrated. I just don't read magazines. I think magazines are underrated. I think they're good. I think they serve a purpose. I think they're good. It's a form of entertainment and learning that a lot of people don't like read. People just don't read enough nowadays, I think, is the problem. Mm-hmm. And if magazines are something that help people read more, I think that's good. Right now, I'm more of a book guy than a magazine guy, but I do think magazines are underrated. Underrated.
Well, that solves it.
Wow.
Now, with our new thing we do on Instagram, we'll see where the people weigh in comparison to how you weighed
where
in
they
this
come
week.
in. I think
do you think the people? What about Rain? You said overrated on Rain. Do you think that you're going to be in?
I think that one's going to be pretty, because I think some people are going to be like, oh, it's just a ripoff, and some people are like, oh, it's got a lot of caffeine. What's underrated about a lot of caffeine?
Yeah.
Which you do have a point. I think that one's going to be pretty close.
You said time to rest intervals were.
I think people are going to say overrated.
Yeah, I think our audience will.
I think they'll say overrated. I think Rain's going to be pretty close.
I think you'll be right on cupcakes saying with our audience, and you said
I think
overrated.
most people say overrated because I think they're going to want the whole cake, not just cupcakes.
And then the magazine subscription, I think they could say overrated.
I think they could too. They're all tough. They're all tricky.
We'll find out.
We will.
Time will tell.
We will. I like this. I like this part of it now.
Yeah.
What will the audience say?
Yes. But that does wrap up underrated, overrated, and as always, that also wraps up the Massenomics podcast for the week. The last thing to tell you would be to check out our website and the store and purchase our products. They're all there. You guys kind of know about the products by
They're
now.
still there.
We do have that new thing, brand new shirt coming out that
It's getting closer.
It's not in our hands right now, but we're pretty excited about it, and we're pretty sure you guys are also going to be as excited about it. We got some pretty fun ideas coming for that new shirt when it does get here.
Yep.
But until now, it's all just hype and no substance.
Just the
still.
waiting game still.
Yep. Check that stuff out. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. We're still on that quest for 1,000. If you're on the YouTubes, then you can battle for first comment every week. The numbers of first comment battlers grows every week, and I see a lot of comments that say 8th or 9th, and a lot of people that are not getting first. Most importantly, though, you can, should, and must follow us on our Instagram handles. What do you got for that, Tommy?
At Tomahawk_D.
And make sure to follow the official Massenomics Instagram account at Massenomics. That's it for 163. We'll catch you next time for 164.
See ya.
You just heard the Massenomics Podcast. With your ears, you're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massenomics, and make sure you visit Massenomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massenomics gear. From your friends at Massenomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.